Hello, my name is Nick LaDuca, and I would like to tell you about my Eagle Scout service project. I passed my Eagle Scout board review on Flag Day, June 14th, 2012. My Eagle Scout service project, the restoration and rededication of the Burke Memorial on Owasco Lake, was completed in the summer of 2011. On the northern tip of Owasco Lake, one of the Finger Lakes in central New York, there is a large granite boulder with a bronze tablet insert. The monument is found within Emerson Park and is near the road where hundreds of people drive by daily. My family and I moved to a house near this memorial 10 years ago, and I walked by the monument several times over the years. The bronze tablet in the monument spoke a heroic deed performed July 11, 1911, but the details of this deed and the significance of the deed were vague. Over the years, we had asked many of the local citizens about the monument and its significance, and no one could say that they knew the whole story, and oftentimes the stories were different. In addition, the monument was falling into disrepair. As July 11, 2011 was growing closer, I saw a perfect opportunity for an Eagle Scout service project that would beautify the community park, inform the community about the century-old monument, and celebrate a local hero for his actions. My Eagle Scout service project included the restoration of the Burke Memorial, researching the history of the events around the memorial, and writing an article for a local paper about my findings, and directing the 100-year celebration and rededication ceremony for the Burke Memorial. I would like to tell you the story of Ned Burke and the memorial that stands on the foot of Owasco Lake. The story was published in the Auburn Citizen, July 2011. July 1911 was hot and sunny, and Auburn was in the midst of a heat wave. Edward Ned Burke had arrived in Auburn a week before. During this trip to Auburn, Ned stayed with his cousin, Miss Adelaide McCarthy, and her family. On Tuesday, July 11, 1911, many people went to the lake to swim and spend their day at the water. Mr. Burke and Miss McCarthy had packed a picnic lunch and set out for Lakeside Park to go canoeing. Adelaide wore a long dress and large hat, as was custom for the times. She did not know how to swim, but she felt safe accompanied by the young sailor. The couple rented a canoe at Lakeside Park and paddled leisurely away from shore. Suddenly, around 4:30, the skies darkened and a huge storm broke out. The waves soon threw the couple from their canoe and into the water. Several people on the east side of the lake, near Martin's Point, saw the pair struggling in the water. 3 young men at the channel of Sucker Brook, recognizing the peril, ran and uncovered a 17-foot launch and attempted to make their way to the struggling couple. When the would-be rescuers got about halfway to the pair, Miss McCarthy went under and Ned dove in after her. He came back up to cling onto the canoe while holding on to Miss McCarthy, limp in his arm. As they neared the overturned canoe, one rescuer recalled, "We got so close, he called to us and said that he had a girl on his arm." The rescue craft came within 15 feet of the canoe when a large wave flooded the boat and the motor. One of the rescuers laid on the deck of the boat and tried to throw a line to Ned, but he missed completely. Ned let go of the canoe and tried for the rescue line. Adelaide still secured in his left arm. Now treading water, Ned tried again for the line as a huge wave swept over him. As they threw the line back to Ned, he called to them, "Save the girl, don't mind me," just as Miss McCarthy slipped out from his grip. He went down one last time to try to retrieve her, but he never came back up. For the trio of rescuers, it was a chore to even save themselves, as the waves and the wind continued to beat on their disabled craft. "We did all we could. I couldn't have done more if it had been my own mother," lamented one of the boys. The news that the pair of cousins died in Owasco Lake spread rapidly, and shocked everyone in Auburn. Miss McCarthy was 18, and a popular girl and recent graduate of Auburn High School, class of 1911, and was the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Florence McCarthy. Her aunt was the mayor's wife. Ned was a Navy nurse and a recent graduate of the U.S. Naval Training Station in San Francisco, and was planning on settling in Auburn and working at the Auburn Hospital. The search for their bodies began immediately. Teams of rescuers trolled the waters off Martin's Point until it was too dark to see. At sunrise, Mr. McCarthy and several others were out patrolling the murky waters 100 yards offshore. At 3:15 p.m., July 12th, Thomas O'Neill Jr., the mayor's son and Adelaide's cousin, recovered Adelaide's body using a grapple under the boat. The search for Edward's body continued for 2 more days. Ned's body was found at 9 a.m. Friday, July 14th, by Matt Wall and James Perkins, about 150 feet from where Adelaide was found. Ned's watch had stopped at 4:48 p.m. He also had a signet ring from his graduation from the Navy. While the search continued for the would-be hero, Dr. Frederick Sefton penned the epitaph, which would eventually be placed in bronze. The local and well-known consulting neurologist at Auburn Hospital was moved by the personal account of the rescue attempt. Dr. Sefton memorialized the brave deed in the poem that was seen in the Thursday, July 14th edition of the Auburn Citizen. One of the largest gatherings of mourners in the history of the city attended the double funeral that was held the next day, Saturday, July 15th. The funeral procession of 20 carriages moved from the McCarthy home to St. Aloysius Church. The party was met by a delegation of students from Auburn High School, class of 1911. At St. Aloysius Church, the Requiem Mass was said by Father McGrath. The party then moved to St. Joseph's Cemetery. Thousands of people lined the streets to watch the procession. The cousins were buried in matching twin caskets made of oak, next to each other in the McCarthy family plot. This much of the Burke story had been retold, but who put the memorial there, and when and why? A $100 reward had been offered by the Auburn Water Board for the recovery of Ned Burke's body. The Knights of Columbus had organized teams to search for the lost sailor, hoping to use the reward for a monument to his bravery. After the body was found, donations spontaneously flowed into the Burke Memorial Fund. Lakeside Park was chosen as the site for the memorial, as it was located on public property, where many would see the memorial. It was also within sight of where the two lost their lives. A subcommittee of the Burke Memorial Fund was created to choose a boulder for the monument. The committee had reviewed 14 different boulders within 8 miles of the city. A large granite boulder weighing between 11 and 12 tons was located on the O'Malley Farm in Aurelius on Clark Street Road. On Thursday, July 27, 1912, the boulder was moved from O'Malley Farm to the foot of the lake by workers from the Auburn Drain Company. A team of 8 horses had to negotiate 2 bridges to deliver the rock to its site. Mr. William Gilboy was given the contract to set the boulder in a concrete foundation and furnish the bronze tablet to place in the boulder. An identical bronze tablet is found at Burke's grave site in St. Joseph's Cemetery. On Sunday, September 8th, the stone monument and bronze tablet were dedicated at Lakeside Park at 3 p.m. More than 2,000 people were in attendance. John Donahue, the Grand Knight of the Knights of Columbus, was chairman for the day. Judge Mosher of Auburn, Judge John Hogan from Syracuse, and Mr. William Hughes from the class of 1911 all gave speeches. Reverend Arnold Yantis, the pastor of the Universalist Church, gave the final benediction at the dedication ceremony. And Miss Alice O'Neill, the mayor's daughter and Adelaide's cousin, unveiled the monument we see today, a large granite boulder with an insert bronze tablet, which reads, In Memoriam, Edward George Burke, late U.S. Navy, drowned in Owasco Lake, 11th day July, 1911, striving to save the life of Mary Adelaide McCarthy. A stranger's tribute. I knew you not, I know your name, Ned Burke. 'Tis the mighty isle with the emerald crest, that suckles your race at her teeming breast, that spurns the craven, that adores the mild, the gentle to tender, to women and child. White was the soul of you, Ned Burke, the winds were high and the waters were black, 'twas do or die with the maid at your back. With never a quiver or halt at the test, you gave your all, you gave your best. F.S. This monument was erected by public subscription to commemorate a brave deed. To quote Mrs. M.L. Field of Thornton Avenue, Dear Sir, please allow me to make the suggestion concerning the worthy Edward Burke Memorial Fund, that a suitable statue or monument be placed on some desirable plot in Lakeside Park. It might serve a double purpose as a monument of beauty and as a warning. During the early summer 2011, my scout troop and I worked on the restoration of the Burke Memorial. I also spent several hours in the local library researching the events around the memorial and writing the story. The iron fence was repaired and repainted. The soil in the monument area removed and turned over. New plants and flowers were chosen and then planted. The rock and bronze tablet was power washed, and fresh mulch was placed around the monument. On July 10, 2011, a rededication ceremony was held. Representatives from the Korean War veterans were in attendance with a color guard. The Auburn Purple Lancers color guard also attended to play taps. The Knights of Columbus Honor Guard were present, as they were 100 years earlier at the creation of the initial monument. Also in attendance were the Honorable Mayor Michael Quill of the City of Auburn, John Klink, the Town Supervisor for the Town of Owasco, Peter Tortorisi, the Chairman of the County Legislature, Gary Finch from the New York State Assembly, and Father Frank Leoy from my parish church, all of whom gave speeches. Several scouts from our community were in attendance, and over 100 local citizens came out for the rededication ceremony, which had been publicized and written about in the local papers. After the ceremony, many people had thanked me for my project and for informing them of the monument, which had been present 100 years in our community. One of the attendees in the ceremony had even given me pictures of Ned Burke that one of their relatives had from that time. It has been a great honor for me to do this service project for my community. I most enjoyed researching the history of our local hero and the ceremony. Thank you for watching.